Hello and welcome to the Record Club, brought to you by Record Store Day, the official charts, and National Album Day, and proudly in association with Bowers and Wilkins. My name is Jess Iszatt. Thank you so much for joining us this Wednesday evening. We are very excited to say that our guest this evening is Nilüfer Yanya to talk all about her brilliant new album, Painless. If you're new to the Record Club, we're going to be spending the next 15, 20 minutes or so talking to Nilüfer all about the brilliant new record. And then we're going to be putting some of your questions about the album forward for her to answer. So if there is anything you'd like to know about the new record, whether it's about a certain song, the artwork, a particular lyric that you've enjoyed, drop us a question in the comment section below, and I'll be asking a selection of them in the second half of our chat. On top of that, one lucky person who sends in a question today will be randomly selected to win a pair of Bowers and Wilkins PX7 over-ear noise-cancelling headphones. So obviously, don't miss out. Get your question to us. I have the new record with me. I have a special blue one as well. If you haven't already picked up your own copy from your local record store, definitely get involved and do that once we are done. So let's get straight into it. Welcome, Nilüfer Yanya, to the Record Club. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm actually so pleased we've managed to get you because I know you're already on the road.
Just about, yeah.
Whereabouts are we again?
I'm in Lancaster, I think. On the way to Glasgow, just in a service station.
Oh my God, this is literally
Hanging
just
out.
the beginning of your jet setting already, isn't it?
Yeah, just the beginning. Yeah.
Okay, so each week we start the Record Club with a question from one of the many amazing independent record stores across the UK. And this week's question comes from David's Music in Letchworth. And they want to know what you were listening to when you made this album.
Okay. I was listening to a lot of Big Thief. They're one of my favourite bands in the past 2 years. I was a bit late to the party, so I kind of got to have loads of music to get through, which was great.
I feel like I'm late to the party as well. I'm going to need to look them up.
And then I was listening a lot to Salt as well, Sault. I'm a big fan of all their LPs and also Cleo Soul's solo record. But to be honest, I think that came out after I finished the record. But yeah.
I love that. I love how mysterious they are as well.
Yeah.
So this is the second album, notoriously the difficult album. Talk to me about Painless.
Yeah, okay. It feels like a lot of the writing, the way the songs happened, came out of like a necessity, I think, because like the first kind of year after like 2020, like the first year after 2019, obviously. First year of the pandemic, that's what I was going to say. I didn't really have any like inspiration. I didn't really have any like desire to like make anything like musical. I wasn't feeling very creative in general. So when it came to actually like working on this record, like a lot of it came through collaboration, and it felt like a real like everything. When it did come, it didn't feel like very hard. It kind of felt like light and easy and like it was quite like life changing in a way, the way this album was written for me. So
what was your first step with reaching out? Because I guess if you're feeling like, I don't know, I guess maybe it's writer's block or just uninspired or whatever it is, what was your first step? Who did you reach out to?
My friends, or like people I've worked with before. I worked a lot with my friend Will Archer on the records. We did some stuff on the first LP as well, and we did like a song on the EP together. So it's like we already had the kind of relationship in place, like, and the connection there. I feel like we hadn't reached our like peak of like working together. So we got to do that on this record, I think, which has been wicked.
And what's the album title? What does that mean to you? And at what point did you decide, yeah, this is going to be called Painless?
It wasn't until very late in the process. Like, I didn't have a title for the song and for the album until like I think a couple of days before I had to give it a title, kind of thing.
Oh my God, that's like the deadline making you.
Yeah, and I was literally like back on a plane from holiday, and I just wrote all the songs, and I was like, okay, there has to be, do you know what I mean? There has to be something in there, right? There has to be something I've already said can be usable as a title. And I saw like the song Shameless used to be called Painless, and it was called Painless at the time. So I was like, actually, I feel like that's a good. Because for me, it summed up the process. Like, it wasn't about making things difficult. It's about making things a bit easier in a way, and like not forcing it and letting it come naturally and letting like creatively like letting it flow. And it was much more of an instinctive process in a way. And but since then, like I've been thinking about the word painless and kind of what it infers. Because then lots of people pointed out to me like the record's talking a lot about pain and like the opposite of painlessness. So yeah, I feel like when you're drawing attention to one thing, it also you're drawing a spotlight on the opposite of it. So if I'm saying something's painless, and it also draws attention to pain as a topic.
Yeah. I was thinking about this too, because obviously I was trying to like work out myself, and I kind of wrote down it's like sort of a numbing energy that you have, even though you're writing about these quite dark things sometimes, like, the idea of pain, someone else hurting you, maybe you hurting yourself out of that. It's like cathartic and numbing. So
yeah, and I think it's really kind of, I feel like in a lot of our time in our lives, we try to move towards like this pain-free existence, or we try to ignore pain or look past it or see it as like as a byproduct rather than an experience, I guess. But I mean, I'm not saying we should be like inviting pain into our lives, but accepting it, and then you kind of can also be more sensitive to other people's like pain.
Is there a lyric on here that you're particularly proud of, or maybe after performing it, you felt it like a little bit more?
I always liked the lyric in Midnight Sun. You are my best machine. Yeah, it sounds like quite romantic anyway, which I like. But then also, it's kind of like weird because like machinery isn't something you normally give like human like emotions to. So like, what's your best machine? It's like, what's your best weapon, but not in a bad way.
Do you think all of this when you write it, or are you just writing from within and then afterwards you're like, this is what I mean here?
Yeah, definitely afterwards. It comes afterwards. Yeah.
Does it start in poetry?
I don't know. Like, I definitely wouldn't call myself a poet. I think my lyrics are a bit too basic. And I always start with the music, and the music kind of the melody, and in the melody I like find the words, and then I have to like shape it, kind of carve it out of that. So yeah.
For sure. People watching at home, remember you can get involved with your own questions. I actually, obviously, well, not obviously, but I went to see you performing on Monday. It was one of your record store performances. And honestly, the queue just to meet you was unreal. We were saying just before we went live, I was like, I really wanted to say hi, but was getting content. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to see her on Wednesday anyway. How was it meeting these people? Did you get a lot of questions about the record?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to meet people after a show, especially around like the record release. It feels like really like supportive. Some people did ask me like, "Oh, what does this lyric mean? Like, what kind of advice would you give to someone just starting out or something like that?" Some people also asked me to draw pictures, which was, and then they complained about the pictures.
Oh my God. What did you draw?
I drew a midnight sun because I thought that was very apt, and they were like, "Oh, what's that?" And I was like, "It's a midnight sun."
How do you depict that? That is,
I just drew a sun, but almost like a cartoon sun, but I made it black.
Okay, yeah, I get it. I like that. I like that. Hang on a second. They should not be complaining about that. That is art.
Well, and then I drew his friend a flower, and then he got upset that his other friend got a flower.
Oh, you can't please them all, can you? So I know that your parents are arty though, aren't they?
Yeah,
Um,
the artists.
did that feed into the artwork at all?
Definitely. Well, the paintings, the kind of like patterns, you see the brightly coloured ones. Yeah, those are my sisters. I just actually like stole them with her permission, but just thought
That's
they
what you do
added
when you're
some.
sisters, though, isn't it? Or
Yeah, you just ask about it later. uh, yeah, and I think I've always liked making my own artwork. So I made this one as well. And I think that's definitely something that my parents have influenced me and encouraged me to do, like since I was younger.
And where is this? Where is this all situated?
So it's actually like it's just a collage of different places. Some of it I took in Athens. Some of it's taken out of magazines. Some of it is photos of buildings my other sister Molly took. The back is Mexico City though. That's a solid place.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. So we have a few questions. I can see them ring
Yay.
in. Louise from the Record Club says, did you always plan to release Painless in springtime, as there are a lot of new beginning themes in there?
Oh, yeah, I had planned it from maybe the year before, but I hadn't actually written the record yet. So,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, the release was planned in advance, but there wasn't any music at that time.
And also, we have got Tom on the official charts page says, if you could collaborate with anyone, who would it be and why?
Okay, who would I collaborate with? I would collaborate with maybe Salt because they're one of my favorite bands.
Oh, and then you'd find out. Do you know who they are?
I think it's Inflow. I think Cleo Soul's singing in it. I think Michael Kiwanuka also does the vocals. I feel like I want to say Danger Mouse, but I'm not sure. There's a couple of producers involved.
These are industry secrets that you're spilling here.
I don't think that's an industry secret. I think I read it somewhere.
Harriet on the Record Club page says, sorry, are you excited to be back on tour after not being able to?
I am very excited. Yeah, I think like I was kind of holding it back because we still don't know like, oh, is it going to go ahead until like the day before. You're like kind of like, anything could happen. But now we're on the way. Like I'm really excited. Yeah.
What do you love most about tour?
I think probably the shows because that's the whole point. And you feel like a lot of things you do, I think, around albums can feel a bit like, like not about the music. So we get something that's just completely about the music and you're on stage and you kind of remember why everyone is doing music and why people are coming to the show. It just all makes sense. Like, yeah.
It's funny because I know you have so much to say, but during performance, like you do keep the chat very minimal. Is that on purpose?
I'm just not very good at speaking on stage. Like, I want to say something and I'll be like, no, I shouldn't say that. That sounds weird. Like, and then I'll think of something else and I'll say that, and then I'll be like, why did I say that? Like,
my favorite thing is when you're like kind of about to say something and everyone's like, and then you don't say. You're like, okay, next song.
Yeah.
James Mack on the Record Club says, do you feel any pressure to create music in a particular way, or is the album process something that comes naturally to you?
I don't know. I would like to like not rush into like another album after this one, and not think about like making a record, just making music. That's why I like doing EPs because they are actually a bit more like lightweight and not as like pressured. But I do like writing a lot, so albums kind of make sense.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, Nilüfer, thank you so much for joining us.
You're
Just
welcome.
quickly before I let you go, whereabouts, because I know that you're headed out on this massive tour. This is literally the beginning. Whereabouts are you most looking to perform?
So we are going to Nashville this time around. I've never been to Nashville. We're going to Atlanta as well. I've never been to Atlanta.
Oh my God.
There's a bunch of places like Coachella. I'm excited for. London. I'm always excited for. Kind of everywhere though. I don't want to pick like favorites.
That's true. People are going to be watching. They'll be like, "Say my one." Well, hopefully, I'll catch you at the London one in person.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us. That is all we have time for today. So obviously, guys at home, make sure to grab yourself a copy of Painless from your local record shop as well. Support your local. And also, I'm very, very excited to say that the winner of this week's Bowers and Wilkins wireless headphones prize is James on the Record Club's page. So, James, slide into the Record Club's DMs and we'll get those headphones to you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us and sending in your questions. Our next guest is going to be announced on the Record Club's social media very soon, so make sure you're following us. Plus, all the previous episodes are available to watch back on our YouTube channel. Nilüfer Yanya, thank you so much.